Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's Mac.
And Blair.
And we're back with another wonderful episode of the Parenting Podcast, where we love to come in, sit down, and talk with you about parenting, our experience as parents of 6 children, to include our very young twins, not as young as they were.
No, not as young as they were, but they're still young.
They're still
great to have.
Yeah, it's just kind of that transition period where they're going from being
babies to toddlers.
Yeah. And so there's moments when they're still very babyish, and then there are more moments when they're toddlers. We have 2 of them, right? They're the youngest in the family, and I've been struggling trying to get a video of them. Sometimes they'll be in the living room on the floor, and they'll just jointly take off crawling, and they're gone. And I don't know, I didn't hear them say, hey, let's leave the room.
Let's go find.
Yeah, I didn't hear them say anything. They just together hop up and just start crawling away, and they would just hit the door and they're gone. I now understand when they're gone, they're just going down the hall, but still, there was no communication that I saw.
No. Usually what happens is you'll hear them playing and you hear clickety-clack and the music from all the toys and stuff, and then it just goes quiet. You're like, where'd they go? I thought they were here. No, they're not here. Oh, I gotta go find them.
Yeah. Whenever you have kids, if it goes quiet, that's when you need to be concerned. As long as you can hear noise, being banging, you're good. When it goes quiet,
yes,
be very concerned. Typically, when I find Kenzie in that state, she's found something in a corner and she's trying to. We have a fish tank and she loves pulling the lights off the fish tank. She is a baby disaster.
She is.
Yeah. She's broken 2 plates.
2 plates.
I think 2 or 3 cups.
Yes.
And she's dented up, because then I started buying metal cups, and she knocks the paint off of them. She's dented up about 2 or 3 other cups, and you're like, okay, what is Kai doing? He's sitting there.
Kai.
He's a gentleman.
Sure, a gentleman that knows how to pull on everything.
That's true.
And so he's pulling. He's like, oh, it's near me. Pull.
Yeah, he did. He pulled a lamp onto Matthew's head just the other day.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all, Matthew.
Yeah, it was a heavy lamp.
Yes.
Very heavy lamp. So yes. I had no idea that he was going to grab that cable, the cord, and just yank on that. And he pulled it down, hurt his brother. Not too badly, but he did hurt him. And so, Matthew's the next youngest child, so we had to kind of work with him, baby him up a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, the twins are in that phase where they're not quite babies, but every now and again they still want to be babies.
Yes.
And you get to hold them. Mm-hmm. But
yes.
Just a moment ago, Kenzie did the thing where, that little go stiff. I don't know if you know anything about this. Like, you're holding babies and they're that toddler phase, and they just go stiff, and they're trying to slide. Yeah, and they just start to slide out. Yeah. So she's starting that. She's starting the I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going stiff. Slide away from you, and she's off.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're over 1. They're toddlers. Another thing I'm noticing is the amount of jealousy.
Yeah, the jealousy has definitely picked up a little bit. They're much more aware of what the other is doing, and they always either want to be a part or they just want to be included. So I picked up one and I'm holding her, I'm talking to Kenzie, and everything's going good. And then next thing I know, Malachi's crawling to me from across the room.
Right. I get this exact same thing. If I pick up one, the other is very quickly coming over to see what's going on. Kai does have a habit of snatching Kenzie's pacifier.
He does.
He doesn't even like pacifiers.
He does not like.
He never puts it in his mouth.
No.
But he just yanks it away from her. It's like, mine now, I'm going to play with it.
Yes.
Yeah, she gets upset with that. The other day I had a situation to where I was holding Malachi. Then Kenzie came over, and then she wanted to be close, so then I started holding her, and he got mad because he wasn't as close, and said pulled in, and it's just little flip-flopping back and forth. But this twin jealousy, I guess, how are we best handling that?
We try not to feed into it too much. So that means that, like, we do try to, like, oh, you want some attention too, and we'll hold both for the other one as well. And generally, that's mostly it for them. There's not too much of anything going on. Oh, the other way we try to mitigate that is also whenever we give one something, we give the other one the same thing. So that's always been our go-to with dealing with the kids, and when they get to that point.
Yeah, that's true. To step away from the twins, to talk about all our children, we've had this, and let me know in the comments if you've ever done this. But we have a situation to where if it's a child's birthday, every child gets a gift. The birthday child gets like the best and the most, but every child gets at least a little something.
Right.
And that's because before, all of our children were stair steps, right? We had them in 2011, 13, 15, and 17. And there was a period when they were all really young. The big four is what I call them. The big four are really young. And so if you do something for one of them, you don't do it for the others. And
it's never going to go up.
Yeah, they were too young. So birthdays became an everyone celebration. As they've gotten a little older, especially for the older kids, we've been kind of breaking away from that slowly, and they're understanding more,
Yeah, they understand that it's not their birthday, so they shouldn't be getting presents as well, but we still try to get them a little something.
Yeah, a little something. It's just something that we do. We've always done it. We definitely have to do it with the twins. That's fine. They have the same birthday, so there's no problem there. Right. But yeah, that baby jealousy is something that we're dealing with, but it's not too bad. We're talking about babies. They're one, right? So they could easily be distracted, like, oh, look, a cup. Oh, look,
Right.
So you can easily distract them away from whatever
was bothering them or trying to bother them.
But
that makes
up in there, quick toss, spin around,
completely forgotten why.
And they're on off to the next thing. I had this situation today where I was trying to get Kenzie to give me the remote. It fell on the floor, and I saw this other dad do it. He leaned his baby over. The baby picked up the remote and handed it back to him. It took about 5 minutes. I didn't realize that was practice. I thought I could just tell her, hey, give me the remote. And she slid on the floor. She went down there, crawled past the remote. There was this tiny little thing on the floor.
She started messing with that.
I started messing with that. Passed it. It's just like, this is not working. About 5 minutes later, I was finally able to get her to hand me the remote. So that just kind of, it worked out. It worked out. She's getting there. And then Kyle was just sitting on the couch staring like, I don't know what's going on with all of this stuff. I love their personalities. And I love the difference that we see between the two of them. But what I really want to talk about in this particular podcast, unless you had something else to share about the twins.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What I really want to talk about was something that Blair and I have, I think even before we had our first child, we made a commitment, and we have stuck to this commitment. We made several, but I only want to talk about this one. And we've stuck to this commitment, I believe, the entire time back when we were in the States, here in the UK, and that is keeping our kids in swim class.
Right. Swim is really important. We feel like it's a lifetime skill that all the kids should have. And so out of respect for that goal, we've always had our kids in swim lessons. So back in the U.S., now here we have them in swimming classes. So that's been going pretty well.
Yeah. Last week, the reason this popped up to my mind, last week I read two different news articles, and both of these were like from the U.S., but there were these two young men, teenage boys, and unfortunately they drowned. And then there was another child, and that child also drowned. And the reality is that in that instance, all three of those children were African American. They were Black. And although every child needs to know how to swim, it is a situation where in the UK, children of Black descent are 3.5 times more likely to die of drowning. In the US, Black or African American children are 3 times more likely to drown. And there are a lot of reasons that, people can talk about as to why that has been the case, why that is the case.
Right.
And what we made a commitment to with our children was not focus on those historical things, not focus on the things that kind of detract, but focus on making sure that all of our children can swim. And so we've poured time and effort into it. But I'll tell you what, if you're a parent and you have a kid and you want to put your kid in swimming, it's a commitment.
It is a commitment. It's more like when we were coming up, at most you would hear is maybe like people would take lessons for maybe a week in the summertime. A week is not enough time to teach you how to swim.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people think they can swim because they can bobble in the water a little bit, and that's not actually swimming. We have started our kids out swimming from really about 5, 6 years old. Blakely's been swimming since she's 5 or 6, and now she's, let's say at this levels of kids swimming, I think she's at stage 6 or 7 out of 10 before they graduate into even more advanced swimming. But she has been in swimming nonstop. Trey is, I think, a level or 2 behind her. Braden is a level behind. And then Matthew and Braden, I think that they're at the same level right now.
Right.
And they have been in swim, and it is tedious sometimes because the classes, we have 4 kids, so the classes at one point were all on different days at different times. We have them grouped together right now on 2 different days. We have to rush home from work, get the kids, get them switched out, and get them off to swim.
Right. And then sometimes in the summertime, we'll do more intense classes, like they'll go every day. So that's even more of a commitment for us to make sure that we get home in time, have them change into their outfits, and then take them on to swim.
Now, I won't lie. I secretly hope these children will go on to do 2 things. One, I think being a lifeguard is a wonderful job for a teenager, right? So a teenager, young adult, being a lifeguard. Because if I could have been a lifeguard, think about it like this. Lifeguard or like flipping burgers and fries. And to me, lifeguard is I would love to have them be lifeguards. I'm trying to prep them up to get them good enough to swim to be lifeguards. And then 2, the idea that they could potentially go to school on a scholarship, on a swim scholarship. Right. I think that would be cool as well. I think both of those would be great. If they don't happen, that's fine. But I do want them to, if Blakely has indicated at different points that she's not too interested in swimming. And I said, okay, that's great. When you get to the point where you can pass all the swimming survival classes, and the teachers say no matter where you fall off a boat or fall off anything, you have the rescue to save yourself from that situation, then you can stop swimming.
Right.
And she's not at that level yet. So she's going to keep swimming until she can at least get to that level. Again, parents, it is a long commitment to put your kid in swim. Just once or twice throughout a summer, every other year, they go do a week-long section here and there. That's good and definitely better than nothing. If that's all you can do, then definitely do that.
Right.
But, the local YMCA, the local council, there's opportunities to kind of get your kids into swimming, and there's some subsidized, if finance is the issue, there's subsidized training, and also. So I encourage you as a parent, if you have kids, put your kids into swim class.
Yes.
Now, that's kind of deep. I get it, but it's real.
It is.
Right?
It is.
The other thing that I've been dealing with is recently Matthew came to me and he was going through this phase of trying to understand what grandparents are.
Right.
Yeah. I told you about this, right? So we have kids and they're at different stages, right? So Blakely and Trey, those are like our preteens, and then we have Braden and Matthew, which is just straight up in the middle of being kids, and then we have the twins on the bottom, and they're just babies and toddlers. So we have them kind of feel at 3 stages, and so the older 2 have already gone through the stage where they understand what grandparents means and who the grandparents are. Well, now we're in this phase where Braden and Matthew are starting to understand that, because of course, the parents get asked a lot of questions.
Yes.
And so they're trying to understand those relationships. Matthew, it really just recently clicked on him completely that my mother, which is his grandmother, is actually my mother.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you get all kinds of questions, so can she tell you what to do? It doesn't kind of work like that anymore, but yeah. So I can, and then they keep following up with more questions like, so I can tell her to tell you to give me some ice cream? And like, that's not really one of the things she's going to tell me to do right now.
Yeah. We had a situation with that. My brother-in-law, my sister, their kids tried to do that because my grandmother was watching them, and the kids would constantly try to tell on their parents and get the grandmother to do something to the parent. And so we're dealing with that when Matthew is really asking a lot of questions and trying to understand that role of grandmothers and what is it. My father's passed away, so they were very close. Matthew and my father were very close when he was still alive. But so now everything is about my mother and then Blair's mother as well. Right. And so the kids are asking about that. They're trying to understand that relationship. Another thing, understanding relationships. I have an older brother, and the kids all thought that my older brother, for some reason, they thought my older brother was married into the family.
I thought he was married into the family. I'm like, who's he married to? Who?
Think about it. My brother's never been married. Ever. No. He's never been married. And I don't say that to hey, whatever. You get married, you don't get married, it doesn't matter. Whoever you are, that's how you live, right? And so he's never been married. And it was like, I told my brother this. He's like, well, where's my wife? If I'm married into the family,
Oh, and to help you understand, like, it doesn't matter if you're married or not. Then they said, we asked for other people in the family, like, so you know your Aunt Kim is your dad's sister, right? She's like, no, I thought Uncle Reggie was dad's brother. I'm like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So trying to keep familiar relations straight with kids,
It's very funny.
It's pretty funny.
Very funny.
It's funny. But we've been doing a pretty good job, I think, with that. But yeah, Matthew's trying to understand that right now. And we're gonna have to go through this one more time again with the twins when they get to that phase. That'd be cool. But hey guys, this is a short one. Unless you have something else?
No, I don't. I think short is sometimes good.
Yeah, short is good. Hey, if you have any questions that you would like for us to talk about here on this Parenting Podcast, drop those in the comments down below. Shoot us a message and let us know. We'll try to address it and talk about it. Again, we have kids at the ages between 12 to 1. And all those steps in between. We have 6 of them. But hey, this has been a lot of fun. I enjoy sitting down, having these conversations with you, having a conversation with Blair. Until next time.
Take care.
Take care.